Welcome to the Echo Tips Podcast.
Yabba dabba doo!
Here's a sneak peek into what we're going to cover in this week's episode of the Echo Tips Podcast.
Welcome back to NFB Newsline, brought to you by the National Federation of the Blind along with state sponsors.
Well, hello. Welcome to the Echo Tips Podcast. It's good to have you all returning listeners and you new listeners with us as well. Before I mention our core topic for the day, I would like to just say welcome to our new listeners. I am the host of the Echo Tips Podcast. My name is David Ward. I'm an assistive technology instructor and technology trainer, and this show is all devoted to the Amazon Echo line of devices and the favorite A-Lady devices. And I say A-Lady instead of the word A-L-E-X-A, so I don't set off your echoes at home. And in our back catalog of over 7 seasons, which if you're trying to solve a problem, I would encourage you to go there, you can find a wealth of information about games, applications for children, parents, caregivers, seniors, home automation, news, media, music, audiobooks, just a wealth of content in our back catalog. Differences between all the different pieces of hardware. We just cover a whole wide gambit in our back catalog. So by all means, check that out. We generally are trying to keep our shows somewhere in the 15 to 25 minute range. I do have occasionally omnibus episodes which go way up more towards like the 30, 40 minute, 50 minute mark. But those are usually labeled as such. And they're special interest episodes. So those are really cool because they cram everything into something about maybe AI innovations that are coming or a particular subject like reminders or alarms or something like that. So we do have a handful of those in our back catalog. Now, we put out episodes every week. That's 52 episodes a year. And who knows, maybe one day I'll take a week off. I don't know. But anyway, by all means, it's good to have you new listeners with us as well. Okay, so what is our topic for today, new listeners and returning listeners as well? Well, this is going to be a very special interest-focused episode for a very specific kind of demographic, although you may know somebody or have a family member that fits into this category, and hence it may be beneficial to you, or you may just want to share a link to them or their family members so they're informed. So this is a skill that we covered way back in episode number 42. That's right, 42, over 300, I guess it is almost 300, 301 episodes ago. Over 300 episodes ago, dealing with the NFB Newsline Skill. So I'll tell you what NFB stands for in a moment, but this is a skill designed for those with what we would call print disabilities. And that could include anyone who from on the spectrum from being blind, can't read or see or even perceive light, all the way to low vision individuals. Maybe they have magnification. They use magnification or different things to try and read. And I'm talking big, like honking special equipment to blow pages up on like monitors and stuff like that. Maybe special types of eyewear. And there's a whole spectrum on that. Or we can think of other disabilities that would affect the ability to consume printed materials, a magazine, a newspaper, a paper book. That could include dyslexia. It could include maybe some sort of brain injury due to a car accident or a stroke or anything like that in the way you process information. Honestly, even having some sort of motor disability or tremor in your hands that makes it difficult to flip the pages of a book or magazine could be applicable to this category of print disabilities. Now, for all of these individuals and maybe others that fit this kind of category, consuming those kind of materials is challenging, if not impossible. You can't see the page at all. I mean, you can't read that. Audio materials are fantastic, and the Echo is a primarily audio device out of the gate. So audiobooks are a fantastic resource. Audio magazines, audio, podcasts, all those things are a huge thing in these communities. And the NFB Newsline is from an organization, nonprofit, stands for National Federation of the Blind. And so they in particular made this specialized program that runs across the United States here. And has over 500 newspapers and periodicals and websites that can be consumed in an audio format, either by a telephone or, in this case, our favorite A-Lady device. And that is a super duper way that you can walk over and hear the New York Times or the Wall Street Journal or whatever the case may be on your Amazon Echo if you are registered. And you can easily Google how to get the registration for that and the application process. And I do briefly mention some aspects of that in the back catalog episode, but I'm just mentioning this up front. So if you want to Google that and go find out more about that information, or you could talk to your local department for the blind and vision impaired, or whatever the proper designation it is in your state, and they would probably be able to point you in the right direction, or maybe your local library that works in conjunction with the National Library Services for the blind and vision impaired through the Library of Congress. So that would be an easy way. I bet they could probably point you towards an application. But honestly, it's on the website. And if you're registered already with any of those other services, oftentimes you can easily just get signed up. There's a cross-certification kind of mechanism there. Okay, all right. So I've been yammering on for quite a while here. So we're going to go to we're going to kind of cut out our typical transition here where we go to a message about our show, and we're going to go right into the meat of our content from episode 42 now. Oh, I almost forgot too, guys. You may want to mute the ears on your Echo. That way I don't set it off. Okay? All right, back to the show. That you can do, well, maybe before I get into that, maybe I should describe the NFB Newsline. The NFB Newsline has been around for a number of years across different states. It has, I believe, at present over 500 newspapers and periodicals. So magazines that you can listen to. Now, as Newsline kind of implies in the old days, and you can still do it today, you can call a phone number, either a local number or a 1-800 number, once you're registered, and you can pop in your PIN number, and then boom, you're logged in. Now, you only have to do that the first time. After that, the system will remember your caller ID and just automatically log you in as David Ward or whoever. And from there, you can listen to all those newspapers, including for our local listeners here, the Roanoke Times, which recently was added to the venue there, Virginia newspapers, but a lot of really other cool things that you can listen to there. You can also access it via an app on your smartphone, such as your iPhone. There's an NFB Newsline app, and then you can also have papers sent to your email inbox as well. Like I could have the Roanoke Times sent to my email inbox and read it with a screen reader there as well. So that's a piece of technology that the blind often use. As I mentioned, this is really geared towards those with vision impairments to access that material. So let's just start from scratch. I cleared out my installation on my Amazon Echo of the skill called the NFB Newsline. So I'm going to invoke it for the first time, and then we'll have you'll see how it kind of works. So it's pretty cool. All right, now I will mention in their actual documentation they usually say use the phrase National Federation. I've also found that typically NFB Newsline works, but if you find that one doesn't work, then use the other, okay? So I'm going to give it a shot here. We're going to open it for the first time. Alexa, open the NFB Newsline.
Welcome to NFB Newsline. I don't recognize this device. In order to use NFB Newsline, you need to log in as a valid subscriber. To do that, just say, "Ask National Federation to log in," and I'll guide you through login steps.
Log in.
What is your 6-digit identification number? What is your 4-digit security code? Welcome to NFB Newsline. Hello, Irene Peterson. What would you like to read?
Read Roanoke Times.
Welcome back to NFB Newsline, brought to you by the National Federation of the Blind along with state sponsors. Hello, this is NFB Newsline for Virginia, sponsored by the Virginia Department for the Blind and Vision Impaired. For more information, please contact John Halverson at 703-379-1141. Be sure to check out the Virginia Local Information Channel for topics of local interest. Reading in Roanoke Times dated February 20th, 2019. In the extra section of the Roanoke Times, there are 27 articles in this section. Article 1. Attentive Knights advance with victory. HS Boys Basketball.
Alexa,
Cave Spring.
stop. Okay, so that probably gives you a brief idea of what you can do. Now you might have said Irene Peterson was a former instructor that had registered this for our nonprofit, so it still says Irene there. But anyway, that gives you a little idea. Now, once you do the initial login, you won't have to do that anymore. It remembers your PIN code. But I wanted to give you an idea. So you want to make sure you're registered with the NFB program, and if you're already registered with the National Library Services for the Blind, they can just do an automatic cross match. You just give them your name and address, and they can do it over the phone, I think, or by email. Otherwise, you might have to fill out some documentation and have a doctor's note. Other commands you can do. So you can, of course, New York Times, lots of other things. Now you could say now you could layer your commands together. You could say, and I'm just going to say a lady here, so I don't trigger the one in the office here. You could say a lady asked National Federation to read the Wall Street Journal. A lady asked the National Federation to read the next section, so you could skip a section. You could do a lot of cool stuff. You could say play previous section. You could simply say next or previous, it looks like, to skip articles. You could, now this might be the most handy thing for you to know. You could say a lady, or once you're in the skill, you could say ask National Federation to give me instructions. Or if you're already in there, you could just say, give me instructions. And so she'll probably give you a breakdown of all the major instructions then if you did that. I will mention, though, you have some other things. You're like, I don't know about that voice, the computer voice. You could actually change the voice. So you could say, a lady asked National Federation to change voice. You could say, a lady asked National Federation to read a little faster. Or a lady asked National Federation to read a little slower. So you have a lot of really cool commands. You can change the voices. You can change the speed. Oh, this is a really cool one. A lady asked National Federation to email this article. So maybe you're listening to an article right then in that moment, and you'd like to have a copy of to peruse a little more carefully, or check the spelling of a name, or maybe a website that's mentioned in an article or something. You could do that right there and give a verbal command, and assuming your email is on file with your registration, boom, you'll get an email. So that is so neat, so fun, and a great way to process a whole bunch of great information and stuff. I should mention it's just not print materials. There are some websites like Wired Magazine and other websites that have a lot of their content on their main site. It can pull from a lot of those as well too. You can get a full listing by just Googling National Federation of the Blind Newsline, and then checking their list of available resources. Also, you could Google NFB Newsline Skill, and I think it's about usually the second or third listing on Google. You can find these commands list right off the NFB's website, all these different, because once you get into a skill that has these many features, you want to know what all the different commands. But I think that help command would give you a good idea, a good breakdown of what those would probably be. All right, guys. Well, I hope you really enjoyed that. Now, that's going way back, like 7 years ago. So there have been new advancements with that skill, and you can check that out as well. I don't think we've heard dramatic improvements in the text-to-speech voices that are used, but I'm really, really, really hoping that's something just around the corner. Wouldn't it be amazing if we had 11 Labs or something like that on there, where you could hear the Wall Street Journal or the New York Times or the Roanoke Times in my area read with that quality voice? Oh, that would be amazing. I dream, right? But I'm really hope it's an amazing work they do over there at NFB, and especially the Newsline service. They got good people doing good work, and it's just an amazing program. So I hope you enjoyed that little clip. Like I said, that's one of our most famous episodes across the 7 seasons. That probably has nearly 8 times, maybe even more than that, listenership to that episode. So I hope you guys really enjoyed it. If you have thoughts or suggestions about a future episode, you're always welcome to email us at our new email address, the one I've been mentioning since January of this year, 2025, and that is Echo Tips Podcast, no dashes or periods in that, Echo Tips Podcast, and then @ CERT, CERT, Doctor, DOCTOR.com. And just, send us an email. We'd like to hear something new, or could you dust off this old goodie and revisit it, or whatever the case may be. We'd love to hear your feedback, especially if you've already got access to the new A-Lady AI thingy. I would love to hear that, the A-Lady Plus. We would love to hear that. I am enrolled to be notified, but I haven't heard anything. Maybe there's some people that get early access. If so, drop us a note. We would love to hear about that. Well, until next time, it's time to turn the ears on your Echo back on. And we, as always, thank you. Thank you for listening.